it's happening in New York or across the globe. Learn why it matters first on Kevin McCullough Radio.
So glad to have you with us on a Monday, and of course this is the day of the week where everybody's getting back at it. And I'm looking at the indexes, and everything's up a little bit today. It's not like a record day on the markets, but it is an interesting day, you know, given that we launched airstrikes over the weekend, and James Comey had his big sit-down interview and some other things that, you know, culture might look at and say, oh, there's reasons for this or that. But I want to go straight to the source, because on Money Mondays we talk with David Fischer, who is the head of he's the CEO of Landmark Capital, and he rejoins us. By the way, I want you to be reminded that coming up July, the weekend of July 4th, by the way, how are you going to celebrate July 4th this year? Maybe by winning a Liberty gold coin, a $20 gold coin that's right now worth somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000 if you look them up. That's what Landmark Capital is celebrating this 4th of July with. They're going to award one special person that gold coin, and you automatically are registered for that contest when you call and receive the 2018 Financial Survival Packet at no cost to you. It's almost $200 value of materials and goods, and you are going to walk away with great information, including that new white paper that is really worth reading. Time is up. Which bubble will burst first to trigger the coming great deflate? More details on that when you call 844-604-2575 and say, I want to register for the contest and I want to get my financial survival packet. Call them today, 844-604-2575. David Fischer's in the house. David, welcome. Good to have you back.
It's great to be with you again this afternoon, Kevin.
Now, so even though we did drop some missiles over the weekend, the indexes are all up right now, and it looks like there's a little bit of a bounce back, I guess, for this day. What do you make of where the markets are as we start the week?
Well, we're not in a war, so obviously that's why there's not these big swings happening as a result of the weekend, but we clearly have a global synchronized recovery happening with massive tax cuts in the United States, but also rising budgets. But we're in a rebuilding of like the hurricane area and projects. Record corporate profits are coming out with companies having stock buybacks. We have oil at $60 a barrel and a record low unemployment for the United States. But this rally here that we've been talking about is based upon more commercial investing and computerized trading rather than what you call the retail investor. As you know, Kevin, I'm on TD Ameritrade as a contributor, right. And they have an index there now that's been developed since December 2010 called the IMX, which reads investors' sentiment on retail investors completely. It doesn't talk about what they think or believe or feel. It's based upon what they've actually done in their accounts and the positions they've done. And that index is down 39% in 3 months. It's plunged, saying that the retail investor is not comfortable in this current market.
Well, that is certainly an interesting index to watch then. Well, I'll be asking you about that in days to come.
But
let me ask you this.
Kevin, with that, we're going to have inflation, though. That's what's really the core headlines undertone here.
Right. Well, and in addition to that, we've now crossed the 15th of this month, and your theory on the unloading of treasuries, that there's more going to be unloaded here in the next day or two. Will we see another low or lull in the markets because of that?
Well, they sell more at the end of the month than at the 15th. Very little of the treasuries that the Fed is selling, called unwinding their balance sheet, is done in the mid-month, but it's done more so towards the end. So I think the end of the month we're going to have a big change again. But I think some of the things that are causing added change to this is the IMF just came out with a stark warning of dark clouds looming. They said that the global economy has peaked now and we're in a downturn in 2018 is more inevitable. And also last week, the CBO, Congressional Budget Office, came out with our government spending. We have excess spending up to 60% of our GDP, $4.7 trillion. They're estimating in 2020, and they're also saying now we're going to have $1 trillion deficit budgets. So we are on a spending spree. The Fed is selling. This is an inflationary environment, and gold is responding.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. Now, you just laid out some of the reasons why you think inflation is rising. Does inflation rising always correspond with, or at least usually correspond with, the value of gold going up as well?
Yeah, historically, when inflation comes to an economic environment, that causes higher prices in gold because we have more interest rates being going up by the Fed, which attracts more money to support the dollar. But the problem is, during this economic boom, we pulled away from not paying down our debt. We've escalated our debt. So gold is up 3.5% year to date, while stocks are still down 0.5%, while the dollar has dropped over the last 14 months 13%. But we've had 6 out of the last 7 days in trading days, gold has been up, and we're in the third quarter of row where gold has been moving up. At the end of this month, though, here's going to be the key, in my opinion. As I said previously, China launched their currency called the Petro-Yuan on March 26th. Now, a full month later, at the end of this month, that first contract is going to come due, and these countries, that have bought oil and are getting paid in yuan now can choose to take physical delivery of gold if they don't want to accept the yuan as payment. We're going to see that happen on the Shanghai Gold Exchange, which was set up in 2005. So this all moving up in gold could be not just inflationary, it could be because the world's getting ready to induce gold into their portfolio.
Higher demand. Yeah.
As the currency of the yuan is being released.
Well, and that's the advantage of the Petro-Yuan, right? I mean, you've got oil and gold backing a single currency. That's a doubly secure form. Now, I've talked to some financial people, David, and they think that there's not enough of the Petro-Yuan out there to really, make a dent in the dollar overall. But, you got to start somewhere is my response to them. And if they have a more solid currency, I think that should be a warning flag to us, shouldn't it?
Well, those friends are absolutely right, but it took 9 years for the U.S. dollar to take foot and hold and become the world reserve currency. This is not going to happen overnight with China, but it's launched, and that's the starting point of this, just like it was for the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, and they're playing the long game in finance, just like they are in defense and in global politics. They're influencing people in all different spectrums and regions related to all three of those things. Well, friends, it's one of the reasons why I want you to get that new white paper. Time is up. Which bubble will burst first to trigger the coming great deflate? That's the brand new, hot off the press white paper by David Fischer at Landmark Capital, and it's part of the financial survival guide that you can get absolutely free, no cost to you at all, but it's worth about $189 when you get it, and you'll be registered to compete in that contest on the weekend of July 4th. The Liberty coin, it's a beautiful coin, and what a better way to celebrate our nation's freedom on Independence Weekend than to walk home with a $20 Liberty Gold coin. 844-604-2575 or landmarkgold.com.